reform of Parliament. Now, I want to say this. Every day we come into Parliament and the public has to realize that this Parliament is not functioning properly. This is a Robert Mugabe Parliament. This is a rubber stamp Parliament. You know why? Because although it looks like they are giving us opportunity to speak, actually they are not. Why? Questions. The question session that went on just now. Questions must be submitted 14 hari sebelum permulaan meeting. Not sebelum hari pada mana jawapan soalan itu ditanya. That means MPs have to submit their questions early September. So you know what happens? By the time the question comes up today, the question sudah jadi basi already. It's a stale question. Okay? And in the UK, it's 2-day notice only. 2-day notice before you ask the question. Australia, no notice. Tidak ada notice bagi tanya soalan di Parlimen Australia. Canada, tidak ada tempoh notice. So ini masalah dia. Parlimen secara sengaja telah diperlakukan supaya tidak efektif di negara ni oleh kerajaan Barisan Nasional. Because they don't want this parliament to be effective. They want it to be a pseudo-democracy. This is a pseudo-parliament. It's a rubber stamp parliament. Yeah? Bukan itu saja, not just the issue of questions. And that's why this session we want to go on the issue of reform of parliament. This country, this demand, there's no opposition days. In the UK, for example, you got 20 opposition days every session. Don't have. Private members' bill, no time given at all. In the UK, they give you 13 Fridays to do that. Backbench motions, no time at all. In other words, we MPs cannot say anything in Parliament except during question time and when we are debating bills. If on behalf of the Rakyat we want to bring a motion, they don't give us time to do it. If on behalf of the Rakyat the opposition want a day in order to bring opposition matters, they don't give us time. So that's why I said this is a Robert Mugabe Dewan Rakyat. Okay? It's a dictatorial Dewan Rakyat and it is an undemocratic Dewan Rakyat. Now, in view of that, I have refused to submit any questions. I have not submitted questions this session. As an act of protest, I did not submit questions at all. Instead, I filed a motion under Rule 27(3) calling upon Parliament to immediately amend the 14-day notice to ask questions to 2 days, not more than 2 days. Now, I hope that the government will allow this motion to be heard and so that Parliament can be more effective on behalf of the Rakyat. This is crucial, yeah? For me, this is the new fight that Pakistan is going to go on. Make our Parliament really democratic, okay? I want to just emphasize this again. They're trying to cheat the public by thinking that if we can ask questions during question time, if we can debate bill, oh, it looks like it's all very democratic, opposition is giving voice. No, that's not how parliaments work in the Commonwealth. You must give us time to bring our own private member bill. You must give us time to bring our own motions. You must give us time to have our own agenda. Limited, yes, but it must be there. Otherwise, Parliament is useless to the Rakyat. It just becomes a rubber stamp for the government to pass legislation. That is not the tujuan and the function of Parliament. Okay? I'll give you copies of this motion if you can just distribute it around. This is the motion I filed for that 14-day period to be. This is the first salvo in our battle to amend or rather to reform the way Parliament works. Yeah? First salvo. Okay, any questions? Any questions? No. I submitted this. Is there a date there? 29 August. I submitted it as early as 29 August. So I have not submitted questions as an act of protest against this unreformed, undemocratic parliament. Okay, so we want the public to realize how they're cheating the public in that.
How much notice do they demand to not submit questions, or is it a compulsory thing for all MPs to
No, there's no compulsion. But of course, the submission of questions is the way in which MPs pressure the government to answer questions. But when the government puts in ridiculous rules like 14 days before the sitting, they're going to submit questions, the whole right of submitting questions becomes useless. And I didn't submit question because I want to draw this to the public attention, that they are deliberately making meaningless the right of the public to submit questions. Secara sengaja hak MP untuk menyoal menteri telah dijadikan tak bermakna. Sebab satu lagi very interesting, 14 hari sebelum tarikh persidangan, bukan 14 hari sebelum hari soalan itu ditanya. Okay, in the UK it's 2 days before the day. That means if the question is on Thursday, I just put in my question on Tuesday. Here no, if your parliament session starts 23 September, you must give your questions 14 days before the 23rd of September, not before the 1st of October or 2nd October. And remember, 14 working days. That means they tolak the Saturday, tolak the Sunday. So effectively, you submit your questions almost 3 weeks or 20 over days before the date of parliament. Can you imagine or not? What questions are these? By the time the question comes up, nobody's interested in the question anymore. And if we have urgent questions, we cannot ask. So the kesian the rakyat, they got urgent questions, they want the MP to ask, we cannot ask. You know why? Because we are supposed to have submitted the question 20 days ago, early September. What a joke. What a running, laughing stock of a parliament we have here. And every day they go in looking very pompous, saying that, oh, we are running a very democratic parliament. We are Barisan Nasional, we are running a very democratic parliament. Please, don't make a joke out of the riots, right? Don't make a joke out of democracy. That's what we are saying. You know?
Is this a new rule? People did it come out. It's been around for a long time, or it just recently popped up?
No, for a long time. This is how BN has been running the parliament for a long time. And look, this has been raised over and over again. I raised it during the King's Speech debate last session. You know, I raised it. Before this, many MPs have raised it. They don't care. They don't bother. It falls on deaf ears.
How about the 14 days that they're supposed to give to all the members of parliament? Let's say, for example, the bills or any drafts. Do they honour that 14 days or not?
Also, they don't adhere. You know, they're supposed to give 14 days for bills to be distributed before you actually start. This morning, we all went and sat down at the day one. Suddenly, we had a supply bill for I don't know how many million. I've forgotten. I just said it just now. Okay? They don't give it to us ahead. In the UK, for example, minimum at least 2 weeks, the bill must be distributed before you even bring it to the day one. Here they don't bother. Suddenly they throw a bill on you and they think you're Superman, you can debate on the spot. No. I mean, look, the opposition is pretty good debating. Okay, sorry, I have to say that myself. But they're not Superman. You've got to give us enough time to study the bills. You know? So I think that again, as I said, this is our new agenda. We want Parliament to be reformed so that it is more democratic. Okay, any more questions?
Will other MPs from Pakatan also be following to sort of not to submit questions and because you said you are not going to do questions, right? Or did other MPs also follow? So was it like a mutual?
No, this was my act of protest. But I think all the opposition MPs are agreed that the 14-day notice period is extremely restrictive and is a big problem for the functioning parliament. All the MPs are upset about it, at least opposition MPs are all upset about it. But you know, the problem is they hold the power and they will simply not do anything to make our parliament a better place.
What is the consensus over this in terms of reforming the parliament?
We have a consensus. We have a consensus. Pakatan wants parliament to be reformed. Pakatan wants the notice time for question time to be reduced. Pakatan wants opposition days. In the UK, 20 opposition days. That means the entire day is only opposition business. Zero, we have zero now. Pakatan wants private members' bill time. For example, in the UK, they give 13 Fridays. Here's zero. That means if I were to file a private member's bill to bring an important act on behalf of the rakyat, it will never be heard because government refuses to give us time. Backbench business. Parliament is a debating chamber, you know, it's not a rubber stamp, they don't understand that. That means the backbenchers have got to be given a chance also to put in motions and bills and all that. In the UK, they give up to 35 days for that. Sini, kosong. So it's just a bunch of ministers who come in with their bill and they basically come to us and say, hey, you rubber stamp. Because they have the majority, they're saying, hey, you rubber stamp. Is that how a democratic parliament is supposed to function? No. It's not how a democratic parliament is supposed to function. Any more questions? Today I can talk long because nobody in the queue. Fed up. Why today nobody was to see it? Tuesday, yeah? Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.